Hey guys, this girl got game. Welcome back to Never Forget Me. This time, yes, we're gonna continue on normal. We're gonna pick lovely Eddie, who was my favorite route in Always Remember Me, but he was kind of a butt in Aaron's route, and I don't know if they've murdered his personality, or if it's just that's who he was in Aaron's timeline. I don't know. Maybe he was just upset he couldn't get with Amy before, so we'll see if that changes. Anyway, his stat is diligence to 100 that I wanted to get, just like in the first game. And our general tips are trust Eddie, be honest with him, and don't confide in your friends. So don't trust those so-called friends of ours. Eddie, scene 1. Hey, we got a new background and a toilet. I pull open the dryer door and inspect the laundry again. I can't believe it. It's still damp, even after 2 cycles. It's done this last several times I've done laundry. I wonder if our dryer is broken. Quickly, I push the thought out of my head. I need to leave for my 8-hour shift in 20 minutes, and I found that overall the shift is much more pleasant and bearable if I'm able to start it off in a good mood. Okay, so this is the ending where she wasn't major preggy, and she started working at the hospital as a nurse. Okay. Ooh, swank. I pull the damp laundry from the machine and lay it across the back of the couch, allowing it to air dry while I'm at work. Then I retreat to the kitchen and retrieve a piece of foil-wrapped chocolate before finally plopping down to the breakfast table. It's after I close my eyes and take a bite, slowly savoring my usual pre-work treat, that I hear the front door open. He looks so tired. It's Eddie, my husband, returning home from work. Oh, you guys work different shifts? That sucks. Hey Eddie, how was your day? Long. Eddie's response is curt as he trudges into the living room, clearly sapped of energy, and drops his briefcase next to the couch. Why is there laundry on the couch? Well, it wasn't drying so well in the dryer. Great. Eddie pushes the laundry aside, clearing a spot for himself on the couch. He mutters under his breath as he props his feet on the coffee table and rubs the now throbbing vein in his forehead. Another broken appliance. Just what we need. I frown, unsure what to say. We haven't had the most blissful relationship since arriving home from our honeymoon, something undoubtedly caused by our hectic work schedules and the resulting lack of time together. Yeah, that was a major red flag at the beginning. I hope this broken dryer doesn't add to that stress. I glance at the clock. I got 10 minutes left before popping the last bit of chocolate in my mouth and joining him on the couch. Aw, how nice. I can feel Eddie's tension gradually ebb away as I lay my head on his chest and wrap my arms around him. We rest like this for a few moments, our tired bodies seemingly in tune with each other before I speak. This is so nice. It seems like we've hardly had time to just be together like this since the honeymoon. What did you expect? You knew nurses worked long and often irregular hours. Well, yeah, but I didn't think 5 8-hour shifts a week would be this hard. I don't understand. Do you or do you not want to be a nurse? Because if you want to be a nurse, then this is what the hours are like. I do want to be a nurse. It's just... never mind. His abrupt tone and lack of sympathy is definitely annoying, especially since it's not really the long hours that's bothering me. The main issue is that we never get to see each other. We're both constantly working, but we're scheduled to work different shifts, which means one of us is always at work while the other is at home. Amy, are you okay? Eddie's tired voice, now carrying a tinge of sympathy, cuts through my thoughts. Should I risk starting a fight by being honest with Eddie, or should I save both of us the stress by just holding my tongue? Be honest with him. I'm just upset because we never have alone time anymore. It seems like when we do see each other, one of us is always dashing off to work. You knew when you married me that I had a demanding work schedule, and you knew when you became a nurse that your schedule would become busier too. I know, Eddie, I get that. I'm just saying that we never get to see each other anymore. I don't feel like I have a husband. I feel like I have a roommate. Oh great, I'm Eddie's Aaron. At least we're roommates with benefits. Eddie grins wryly in an attempt to alleviate the tension. Frustrated, I cross my arms and turn away from him. I'm trying to be serious here. What I'm saying is that, well, it's like I have to RSVP if I ever want to spend time with you. Maybe we should hire a secretary to schedule our private lives. Hey, Mrs. Secretary, is Eddie free this Friday night? I want to spend some time with my husband. He's pretty busy, but you might be able to pencil me in for a quick 15 minutes? Great, thanks. Eddie breathes out angrily and vigorously rubs his temple before formulating a reply. What are you saying, Amy? Do you want me to change careers? Do you want me to stop saving lives? This is what I'm passionate about. You knew that when you married me. I am, but what about us? Does your job really take priority over your marriage? Honestly, how can we have a good relationship, or any relationship for that matter, if we're both always working? Eddie freezes, evidently weighing his words carefully. Uh-oh, did I say too much? Maybe I should have kept my mouth shut. You're right, I'm sorry. Remind me when your next day off is, and I'll see if I can get off work early. We can have dinner together and enjoy the rest of the evening, just the two of us. Does that sound all right? Yes. I smile, already generating ideas of what we can do that evening. I'm totally going to rent the sappiest chick flick I can find. Oh no. I don't care if Eddie doesn't like it. He owes me. Come on now, he's probably missed you too. And then we can have sexy snuggle time. He'll like that part at least. Suddenly, Eddie glances at his watch and turns toward me, worry reflected in his eyes. Weren't you supposed to leave for work 10 minutes ago? Oh no, I had completely forgotten. I spring off of the couch, hurriedly slip my shoes on, and grab my purse before exiting our urban one-bedroom apartment. As I jog toward the hospital, desperately hoping I can make it on time, I reflect upon our situation. Although a romantic night together is a start, it's going to take a lot more effort and sacrifice to revive this relationship. Can this really be fixed, or are we just spinning our wheels? I believe in the dream. I believe, Amy. Okay. Oh, we have different things. We have soap operas, which is romance. Working overtime. Yay, Eddie also doesn't care about cleaning. Making dinner is creative, and studying is culture, apparently. Okay. Do I want to work overtime? Yeah. I mean, having energy is not that important to us right now. So let's just get all that diligence up. Wow, I'm at hour 11 in my night shift, and I don't feel tired at all. Again, one of the girls in the children's ward made me a thank you card. She said I was her favorite nurse. How nice. So many girls giving me cards. So many. Okay, Romance 15. Eddie isn't exactly a Casanova, so it's up to me to keep things interesting. I don't know, he's pretty alright from what I remember. Soap operas. Yeah, we can do that. I have 3 weeks to do that. Well, watching that episode of Commonplace Hospital made me remember why I became a nurse again. Hot doctors. Commonplace Hospital. Well done. I applaud that. Although a bit silly, soap operas can be kind of fun to watch once in a while. I mean, if you're working in a hospital, would you want to watch a hospital soap opera? I guess it'd be kind of a comedy at that point for you, wouldn't it? Okay. Again. That episode of Commonplace Hospital featured a bumbling nurse named Amy. Is the universe trying to tell me something? Oh dear. Amy's been in a lot of episodes this week. Every episode, they introduced Amy. Okay, let's see. What's our... We have no social. Well, we'll have to get our social and energy up the next few weeks, but let's just work on that diligence. I'm dying. I'm literally dying. If I pass out, zap me with a defibrillator and funnel coffee into my mouth. But you don't get any debuffs for working on no energy, girl. Now I need to get my energy and social to 9. Dear Sweatpants, I miss you too. I promise to spend more time relaxing so we can be together. Okay. So, relaxing at home, going to bed early. Well, let's make sure we have both our yoga classes, and then that ought to do it. I didn't realize how much tension I was carrying in my back and shoulders. It's completely gone now. Yoga's a gift from God, right? Seriously, whoever came up with yoga, thank you! It's neat that they wrote some different descriptions of what's happening. Even though I wasn't tired, I did nothing when I could have done something worthwhile instead. Look, I'm doing this for your husband. Appreciate it, girl. Oh. I light the final candle and blow out the match before stepping back to survey the table. Though Eddie's briefcase, my purse, and unopened mail usually adorn our small breakfast table, tonight it is decked in our fine china, a wedding gift from Eddie's parents. Nice, sounds like we're on good terms. With parents, for a change. Candles of various shapes and sizes serve as the centerpiece, and their romantic aura is further enhanced by the fabric rose petals I scattered around them. I had decided to go with fabric ones, since Eddie would have undoubtedly claimed that real rose petals were frivolous and scolded me. At least these fabric ones were reusable. Why the big fuss over something as small as dinner, you ask? Well, Eddie and I were both able to take the weekend off, something that's nearly impossible for us to do considering our line of work. This dinner is technically the start of a desperately needed romantic weekend getaway. For over a week, I have been avidly planning this. First, I thought we could go to a spa. We both have stressful jobs, so relieving some tension at a spa would be an awesome couples retreat, right? Then I remembered how modest Eddie is. I highly doubt he'd strip down to a towel and let someone massage him, which in retrospect is probably something I should be thankful for. Aaron and Abigail. And don't even get me started on what he'd say if I suggested taking a mud bath. He'd probably go on a long tirade about all the microorganisms that could be living in the mud, what could happen if they got deep inside our bodies, etc. I want to avoid Mr. Mood Kill at all costs. Dear oh dear. So, after a lot of deliberation, I finally decided that renting a cabin and spending a romantic weekend alone in the woods would be best for us. It would be a nice change of pace from our current metropolitan location, and cabin rentals are surprisingly affordable. Maybe Eddie would applaud me for going with a thrifty choice. He's always been ultra-practical when it comes to our finances. And the dinner we'll be eating? I cooked it myself. I know, hold the applause. At least that's what I'll be telling Eddie. Hey, remember, he bought takeout for you on your first date, and we were nice and didn't make a big deal out of it. You see, I wanted to do something special, so I scoured the internet for meal ideas. I read blogs and watched cooking show after cooking show before finally deciding upon a lobster recipe that didn't look too difficult. Oh, how I was wrong. It all happened so fast, so I'm not sure if I can accurately recount the story. You're talking about making the thrifty choice of going for a wood cabin rental, and you tried to make lobster? Lobster's not exactly thrifty. Let me just say that I had to carry a trash bag full of badly burnt items to the dumpster today. Also, I hope Eddie doesn't realize that 2 oven mitts and our large pot had mysteriously gone missing. How did you botch that so badly? So instead of lobster, we'll be enjoying Chinese takeout. If I'm convincing enough, maybe Eddie will believe that I mastered the art of Asian cuisine while he was away at work. That's not too much of a stretch, is it? Suddenly I hear the sound of the front door being unlocked. Finally, Eddie's home! I sit down in one of the chairs and put on the most alluring face I can muster. I wait in anticipation as Eddie's footsteps draw nearer. When he enters the kitchen, I'm pleased to see his eyes widen in surprise. Oh my god. What's wrong with your face? What? Oh, that's better. For a minute it looked like you were having a severe allergic reaction to something. Your eyes were all squinted and your lips were sticking out like they were swollen. Apparently the face I put on wasn't all that sexy. Rather than pouting my lips like a model, I pouted them like a patient returning from the dentist after having way too much Novocaine. I guess I should have practiced in front of a mirror first. My cheeks heat in response to Eddie's embarrassing words. Now you look like you're breaking out in hives.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yes! I'm blushing, Eddie. I'm not allergic to anything, at least nothing that I know of.
Okay, as long as you're sure.
Eager to alleviate the awkwardness, Eddie changes the subject.
What's all this? Seems like a lot for just dinner.
Ah, finally, he's noticed. I wanted to do something special tonight because, well, you know how we both have Saturday and Sunday off? I planned a special weekend for us since it's so rare that we get time off like this.
I'm like, this is gonna go south. What's gonna happen?
And it all starts with this special dinner, which I totally prepared all by myself with absolutely no help at all. Really. A proud grin forms as I wait for his enthusiastic response. It doesn't come.
Oh, Amy. I know I told you.
Told me what? I knew it. I knew you were going to be a butt and forget.
I'm flying out to New York tomorrow morning for a medical convention. I know I told you about it.
I don't remember. Is there any way you can get out of it?
No. Not only am I speaking at the convention, but I'm also supposed to survey the new medical equipment they'll be showcasing.
Oh. I'm not sure how to respond. Did Eddie really tell me about this? I don't think this is something I would have forgotten. But at the same time, I have been extremely busy lately. Could he have mentioned it while I was occupied with something and only half listening? Either way, the weekend is ruined. There goes all of my plans and hard work. How should I respond? I'm gonna save. That's what I'm gonna do. Amy's version of letting him know that you're upset is like overboard. I don't know. Me, I would just be excited for him and be like, can I come? Would it be so bad if I just came? That's great, Eddie. This is a big step forward for your career.
Yeah.
Eddie's shoulders sag a little as the tension in them dissolves. I think he's surprised that I responded so positively. I'm not that mean, am I?
Yes, you are.
Thank you! Can I come too? That way we can still have a little getaway. Well, sort of. It's better than nothing, right?
Well...
Eddie drops his eyes to the floor as his jaw slowly tightens. Uh-oh, I know that face. That's the "you're not going to like what I have to say" face. It's a face Eddie commonly uses when he has to reveal a bad diagnosis to a patient. He's also used it on me a few times, like when I made meatloaf and asked him if he liked it. Oh no.
I really don't think you'd enjoy yourself. I'm going to be busy most of the day, and by the time I get back to the hotel I'll be so tired that I doubt I'll be very enjoyable to be around. I'll most likely go to bed immediately.
Well, could I go to the convention with you? Maybe we could walk around and hold hands while you look at the new medical equipment.
I honestly don't think that's a good idea. I imagine you'll get bored, and even if you don't, you'll distract me. It's really important that I focus. I have to inspect all the equipment and write a detailed report for the hospital. If I don't do a good job, then they're likely to send someone else next year instead.
Oh, I guess I understand.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I get it. Eddie really doesn't want me going. Is he being honest? Would I really keep him from doing his job, or is there another reason? Well, whatever the reason, I'm sure it's a good one. I trust Eddie. He's never lied to me before. Or at least not that I know of. Besides, I don't really like New York. It's so big and noisy. And Eddie's right, I probably would have gotten bored anyway. I mean, who would enjoy listening to a bunch of old crusty doctors talk about vaccines anyway? Well, I guess Eddie would. This is probably for the best. I've fallen behind on housework, and this gives me a chance to catch up. I should be able to get a lot done without you here to distract me.
Oh, I distract you? How so?
Well, for one thing, your feet are so smelly that it interferes with my brain function.
Hey!
Sometimes I have to step out on the balcony to keep from suffocating. But that won't be a problem if you're gone.
You're so mean to me.
Nah. Eddie leans down and kisses me softly. Okay, I didn't even have to do it. I was just like, let me see the kiss. Eddie closes his eyes when he kisses me, which is something I've always found absolutely charming. When he pulls away from me, I motion toward the food with a tilt of my head. It's getting cold, you know.
It's just takeout. We could always warm it up in the microwave.
How could you tell it was takeout?
Everything is properly cooked, so I know you couldn't have made it.
Hey, rude. Eddie pulls out the chair opposite me and gently eases himself into it.
It's only fair that I get you back for your stinky feet comments from earlier.
Fine, but no more. Truce.
Truce.
Eddie winks at me, then we dig into our meal. A few bites into my egg roll, I casually attempt conversation. So, what do you want to do after this? We could snuggle on the couch and watch a movie.
Actually, I should probably start packing after this. After that, I think I'll go to bed.
So soon, but it's still early.
I know, but I have to get up at 3 a.m. to leave for the airport.
Why so early?
The conference starts at 10 a.m., and the hospital wants to allow for any potential flight delays.
Oh.
But I promise we'll do something together when I get back, alright?
Yeah, I can't wait. My expression dampens slightly. How many similar promises has he broken? I'm sure this time will be no different. Is the day after. Reruns of 90s sitcoms play on TV while I fold laundry. This particular one is about a group of single friends in their 20s. I bitterly scoff at the TV. They portray relationships as fun and exciting, while lightly glossing over the many difficulties that couples face. I grab one of Eddie's work shirts and fold it while I watch. They should make a spin-off where they're all married and miserable. Fourth wall breaking. I would watch that. You see, movies and TV never show you what marriage is really like. They don't show you the scenes where your partner's where a partner is home alone, vigorously cleaning, while the other is on a glamorous business trip in New York. I fold the last piece of laundry and rise triumphantly off of the couch. Done! Now to celebrate with chocolate! As I relax on the couch and savor my stress-relieving treat, now with a slightly cooler head, I quietly reflect on the conversation Eddie and I had last night. I mentally reassure myself that things will get better. They have to. It won't be like this forever, will it? Girl, you're breaking my heart. Romance again. Okay. Soap opera time. All week. All week, every week. I got interested in a marathon of Young and Troubled. Boy, are those characters young and troubled. And restless. Why do I know these references? I don't even watch soap operas. Just young and troubled over and over. Do 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 do. Another scene. Do do. Hey, another picture. Whoa. Eddie's strong arms are coiled around me, holding me close to his chest. Our bodies, pressed together, seem complementary in the way that they fit together effortlessly. I close my eyes and focus on my husband's recurrent breath on my neck. In the background plays a romantic comedy that Eddie and I were able to agree on as we were flipping through channels. The main character is a nurse and aspiring doctor, which garnered Eddie's stamp of approval. Otherwise, he avoids romantic comedies like the plague. However, despite the somewhat interesting main character, Eddie still fell asleep less than 30 minutes into the movie. Not that I'm mad or anything. I know Eddie had a long day at work. I did too, in fact. Surprisingly, we were both released from our shifts a couple of hours early, since the hospital was overstaffed, and we had been working longer than the other doctors and nurses there. Both exhausted, but also thrilled with our sudden free time, we decided to spend the night together at home. The evening started off well. We eventually had time to talk while we ate Tex-Mex we picked up at a fast casual restaurant on the way home. When you're a doctor or a nurse, eating is not the same event that it was before. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are times when you inhale the nearest edible object that will ensure lasting energy for at least a couple of hours, then you get back to work. It's not usually something that we're able to savor and enjoy, so tonight was a nice change of pace. We found ourselves even more tired after we ate, as one usually does, so we decided to simply cuddle in front of the TV and nothing more. Secretly, I was relieved, since the large meal left me more bloated than usual, and any form of exercise when you're bloated is not fun. So here we are now, half asleep as the night winds down. Eddie's been snoring lightly for the past several minutes, something I've noticed he only does when he's especially exhausted. I nudge him softly, hoping that it'll cause him to stop. Instead, he releases his grip on me and rolls over. No, that's not what I wanted. Cuddle me! Cuddle me! Now frustrated, and still not ready to go to sleep yet, I retrieve the remote from the nightstand and begin flipping through channels. Eventually, I find a medical talk show that I like to watch occasionally. You'd think I'd want to escape my work when I got home, but I picked this job for a reason. Medicine is interesting. The host seems to be finishing a segment on foods that contain melatonin and therefore promote relaxation and good sleep. I'm about to change the channel when she announces that, after the commercial break, she'll have a renowned psychiatrist on her show to talk about the underlying addiction behind being a workaholic. My ears immediately perk up in response. Several co-workers, myself included, often joke that Eddie was a workaholic, but I'd never heard anyone classify it as an addiction before. Is it an addiction? I definitely wanted to find out. I prop my pillow up against the headboard and lean on it as I wait for the show to come back on. Finally, after a cheesy mop commercial that seemed to go on forever, the show returns. I listen carefully as the guest psychologist cites her degrees, the book she's written, and the many studies she's been a part of regarding work addiction. She seems legit. I guess I can trust what she says.
Most people think that workaholics work so hard because they seek financial security, self-gratification, or because they're truly passionate about their career. In actuality, a true workaholic has a disorder similar to alcoholism that's reinforced by their type A perfectionist personality. Workaholics are often people who struggle with depression, anxiety, and a need for control. Working long hours is just a way for these people to avoid dealing with their negative emotions. They may feel like a success in the workplace, but a failure at home, which, ironically, causes them to avoid their home life even more. When workaholics are at home and their minds aren't being occupied by work, they feel overwhelmed by their negative feelings, which may result in excessive sleeping, projects, or taking on other time-consuming hobbies. That's why workaholics often pick careers that require long work days, or they pick up extra shifts, simply so that they do not have to be alone with their thoughts. Obviously, it's difficult for these individuals to make caring lovers or spouses. In fact, in a national study involving families with and without a workaholic parent, my team found that people in workaholic homes were 40% more likely to divorce and overall experience much greater marital estrangement and conflict. Unfortunately, since workaholism is part addiction and part personality disorder, there's no real cure. And often workaholics will deny that they have a problem, as most addicts do. It saddens me to say that most workaholics usually don't seek help until they develop a major health problem, or their relationships are in shambles. I would encourage those who think they might be workaholics to project their lives in the future, and question what they truly want out of life. Hopefully this exercise will cause you or your workaholic partner to identify their core values, and become aware of how those values are being eroded away by their obsession and addiction.
After this, the host mentioned the psychologist's new book, where it was available for purchase, and briefly recapped all that was mentioned on the show. I sat there dumbfounded and staring at the screen. All that the psychologist said. Could that really be true about Eddie? Is it really an addiction? Is he secretly depressed? And is it true that we're more likely to divorce and fight than average couples? I know that I won't be able to sleep until I find out the answer, no matter how many of those melatonin-rich foods the host suggested I eat. But Eddie was so exhausted, and this might start a fight. Should I really wake him up? Oh, Amy. You're just gonna stew on it all night and be in a terrible mood in the morning. As much as this pains me, yes, wake him up. This is important, and it shouldn't take too long. I just need to know if my husband has an addiction that's slowly disintegrating our marriage. It's a teeny, tiny yes or no question, and then Eddie can go back to sleep. I grasp Eddie's shoulder and shake him gently. Eddie? Eddie, are you awake? He doesn't respond, so I shake harder. Eddie! Still no response. Oh no, didn't the psychologist say that workaholism could cause health problems? I wonder what kind of health problems. What if you work so hard that your body just gives up and stops functioning? Is that a thing? If that's a real thing, then I could definitely see that happening to Eddie. Frantic, I grab Eddie's shoulder and shake vigorously. Eddie, wake up from your work coma! Eddie snorts and rolls over and stares at me groggily. Eddie, are you okay?
Yes, although a bit tired. Are you okay?
Yeah, I am. A pang of guilt shoots through me. Of guilt shoots through me. Being abruptly woken up by your spouse after a long day of work certainly can't be fun. I woke him up for such a stupid reason, too. What am I afraid of? That, caught off guard by the question, Eddie will break down and admit that he secretly loves being at work away from me? In fact, he would live at the hospital if he had the choice. Of course Eddie wouldn't say any of that. He loves me, and part of why he works so hard is to ensure that we have a good life together.
Why did you wake me up?
Eddie's eyes, though droopy, display a glint of genuine concern. Sorry, it's not an emergency or anything. It's just... Well, I know this is stupid, but I was listening to a psychologist on TV that was talking about workaholics. She said a lot of things, but she said that workaholics are more likely to get divorced or have marital strife, and...
That's ridiculous.
Eddie's words are quick and to the point.
A person can be a workaholic and have a good marriage. It's all about managing your time.
So, you admit that you're a workaholic?
I suppose. I mean, I do work a lot.
You say that like it's a good thing. Being a workaholic is bad. It's an addiction.
Are you saying that I have an addiction?
Well, maybe. You did just admit to being a workaholic.
I don't have an addiction. You're tired and not reasoning properly. Go to sleep.
The psychologist said that workaholics often deny their addictions too.
I don't want to hear any more about that stupid psychologist.
Eddie's sudden outburst quiets me. We sit in silence for several moments before Eddie speaks again.
I'm sorry. I'm just... tired.
It's okay. I just need to know. You love me more than your career, right? Like, if you had to choose between the two, you'd pick me? It takes Eddie a minute to respond. Eddie! His hesitancy alone feels like a stab through the heart.
Why do I have to choose? Can't I have both?
This is a hypothetical situation, Eddie. You have to pick just one.
Why are we talking about hypotheticals? I can't believe you woke me up for this.
Disgruntled and apparently having enough of this discussion, Eddie turns his back to me with a groan. I'm shocked! The fact that I even have to think about it for a minute is devastating. I would give up everything for Eddie in a heartbeat, but it doesn't sound like he would do the same for me.
Amy.
Yes? I'm surprised. I thought Eddie was done with this conversation and had gone back to sleep.
I'm sorry. Things will get better. It just has to be like this right now. I promise that when I'm more established in my career, I'll have the time to give you the attention you deserve.
I know. I lean over and kiss him, and he smiles as I pull my face away from his. He murmurs something softly before rolling over again. I lay back down and attempt to sleep, unfortunately to no avail. No matter how hard I try, I can't bring myself to believe his promise. You lied to me. How could you do this to me? I loved you. Meh.